For 3 years I walked with him. For 3 years I called him Master, Rabbi, Messiah. I was the first to say it out loud. You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Those words came from somewhere deeper than my own understanding. I was so sure of myself back then, so confident in my loyalty. When he spoke of betrayal, of abandonment, I was the first to protest. I stood up, passionate and foolish, and declared, even if all fall away, I never will. I will die with you before I deny you. And he looked at me with those eyes, those all-knowing eyes, and said so softly, before the rooster crows, you'll deny me 3 times. I laughed at that. Me? Deny him? I'd sooner cut off my own hand. Funny thing about hands. You can lose one and still remain yourself. But to deny your Lord, that cuts deeper than flesh. He asked us to keep watch and pray. 1 hour, just 1 hour, while he carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. And I slept. When they came to arrest him, I drew my sword. I cut off the ear of the high priest servant. Finally, I thought, I'm proving my loyalty. But he touched the servant and healed him right there. And he said to me, put your sword away. Those who live by the sword will die by it. Even then, with his hands bound, he was still teaching me. But I was too proud to learn. I followed him. From a distance, yes, but I followed. I told myself it was courage, but it was cowardice dressed up as devotion. That girl looked at me and said, you were with Jesus of Nazareth. And in that moment, that split second before I opened my mouth, I knew exactly what I was about to do. And I did it anyway. I don't know what you're talking about. The first lie came so easily, as if I'd been rehearsing it my whole life. Soon after, someone else recognized me. This man was with him. I saw them together. This time, I didn't even hesitate. I swear I don't know the man. Those words, they still echo in my chest like a funeral bell. How do you unknow someone who changed your soul? Later, another voice, surely you are one of them. Your accent gives you away. You're a Galilean. The third time, I didn't just deny him. I cursed him. I swore by all that is holy that I had never known Jesus of Nazareth. I swear by Almighty God, I don't know this man. And then the rooster crowed. That sound, it shattered something inside me. Time stopped. The world went silent, and all I could hear was that rooster, crowing like judgment itself. And then he looked at me. I expected judgment. I expected anger. What I saw was forgiveness, love. Even after I had torn my own heart out and thrown it at his feet, he looked at me with love. I ran, like a coward, like the broken man I had proven myself to be. I ran, and I wept. God in heaven, how I wept. I wept for my cowardice. I wept for his pain. But more than anything, I wept because I finally understood what I had lost. Not just my master, not just my friend. I had lost myself. The next day, they crucified him. While I hid like a beaten dog, they nailed the Son of God to a cross. And even then, even as he hung there dying, his words were not a condemnation. Father, forgive them, he cried, for they know not what they do. Do you understand? He was asking forgiveness for me, for all of us, while we spat in the face of love itself. 3 days later, he returned, not as a ghost, not as a memory, but as himself, alive, victorious. And I couldn't even look at him. He sat beside me and asked so gently, Simon, son of John, do you love me? 3 times he asked. 3 times for my 3 denials. But this time, the repetition wasn't punishment, it was restoration. Through my tears, I said, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. And he simply said, feed my sheep. That's the mystery of grace, you see. It doesn't erase the past. I still carry the scars of that night, but it transforms it. My failure became the foundation of my ministry. I spent the rest of my life telling people about him, about his love, his forgiveness, his power to transform even the most broken heart. And every time I spoke, every time I baptized a new believer, I remembered that night. I remembered that I was the one who denied him. But more than that, I remembered that he is the one who never denied me. Tomorrow, they're going to crucify me, upside down at my own request. I'm not worthy to die the same way he did, but I'm not afraid. Not anymore. Because now I know something I didn't know back then. Love isn't proven by what we don't do. It's proven by what we do after we failed. My love for him didn't die that night. It was purified, tested, made real. I was the one who denied him, but he was the one who never stopped believing in me, even when I couldn't believe in myself. So if you're hearing this, if you're carrying away your own failures, your own denials, remember this. He's still looking at you with those same eyes. Eyes full of love. Eyes that see not who you were, but who you can become. My name is Peter. I was the one who denied him. But more than that, I am the one he refused to give up on. And if he didn't give up on me, he won't give up on you. And after he restored me, after that morning by the sea, I thought everything would return to how it was, that we would walk again together, laugh again, hear him teach the crowds while I stood proudly beside him. But he had other plans that didn't include him staying, at least not in the way I knew. I watched him ascend into the heavens, watched the skies swallow up the one I loved. And as we stood there, staring upward like fools, angels reminded us, "Why you stand looking into the sky? He will return just as he left." He was gone again. But this time, something had changed. This time, I didn't run. We gathered, all of us, trembling but waiting, just as he had told us to. And then, on the day of Pentecost, it happened. The wind, the fire, his spirit. Suddenly, I wasn't just Peter the fisherman. I wasn't just Peter the failure. I was Peter, the one he had filled, the one he had chosen, the one he had called to feed his sheep. I stood before the crowds, the same city that had watched me cower and lie, and I spoke boldly, not with my own words, but with his. I told them who he was. I told them what they had done. I told them what he had done for them. And 3,000 souls believed that day. I watched their faces change as mine had. I baptized them with hands that once trembled with shame. I looked into their eyes and saw the same forgiveness that had been offered to me. And each time I spoke his name, I felt the weight of mine fall away. Peter, the rock. Not because I was strong, but because he is. I traveled far, wherever the Spirit led. I preached to Jews and Gentiles. I saw the sick healed, the dead raised. The gospel spread like fire across dry land. But it wasn't easy. They beat us, mocked us, jailed us. Still I preached. I remember the first time they arrested me, threw me into a dark cell, thinking they could silence what had been ignited inside me. But I sang. We all sang. Shackles couldn't silence the truth. An angel came and opened the door, just like that. And what did I do? I went right back to preaching. Because once you've seen the risen Lord, what can man do to you? Even when I failed again, yes, I still failed, his grace never let go. There was a moment years later when I hesitated to welcome Gentile believers. I drew back out of fear of what others might think. But Paul, dear Paul, he confronted me, not to shame me, but to remind me. And I listened because I had learned the hard way that pride is the enemy of grace. So I repented again, because that's the journey of a disciple, not perfection, but constant returning. Returning to the one who never stops calling you forward. Now, as I sit here, awaiting my final hour, I think of all the souls I've seen transformed, all the men and women who once felt unworthy, just like I did, and came to know that their past didn't define them. He did. And I wonder how many more will come, how many more broken hearts will find healing because of the story of a fisherman who failed and was still chosen. That's why I tell this. Not for pity, not for glory, but for hope. Because if he could use me, the loud, brash, stubborn denier, then he can use anyone, even you, especially you. So whatever you've done, wherever you've been, it's not too late. Look up. He's still there, still calling your name, still looking at you with those same eyes. Eyes that never condemned, eyes that always believed, eyes that still love.